All right, let's talk about water and water's properties. So first of all, we need to talk about a couple of terms. If we're talking about something being solvent or having a solvency, that's simply its ability to dissolve matter. Hydrophilic is when something is water-loving, it easily and readily dissolves in water. Hydrophobic is when something does not easily dissolve in water. So for hydrophilic, think things like salt, things like sugar. Of course, they dissolve better when there's heat applied, but they will dissolve in water relatively easily. Hydrophobic would be things like oil. It does not matter how much you stir. The minute you stop applying that agitation, it pops right back out. It does not want to dissolve. That's a hydrophobic substance. Water is typically referred to as the universal solvent. It's neutral, and it is extraordinarily important for a wide variety of metabolic reactions and to transport substances because of its ability to dissolve substances. Water is actually a byproduct of a ton of metabolic reactions. So why is water good? Water is really good at overwhelming ionic bonds. Typically does this by forming spheres of water molecules around the sodium and chlorides. Remember, water molecules have a slightly positive and a slightly negative charge. Those slight negative and positive charges, when there's enough of them, can overwhelm the magnetic attraction of the sodium and the chloride. Adhesion is a term that we use to talk about attraction between substances. It's one of the reasons water likes to participate in so many reactions. It's why we can form proteins from amino acids. Cohesion is an attraction between a substance and itself. So, water is attracted to water. Adhesion would be an amine group attracted to a hydroxyl group. That would be an adhesion. Cohesion would be a water attracted to a water. In fact, water is really attracted to itself. It's what helps actually prevent water from pooling. I know you're probably thinking, wait, last time I cut myself, I just had water coming out. But it stuck together. It didn't just fan out. It tried to stick together to form a stream. It likes to stay close to itself. Cohesion is also what's going to form capillary action. So if I stick a very small diameter hollow tube called a capillary into a beaker of water or into blood, that water or blood is going to go right up the capillary, and I don't have to cap it off or anything like that. It will just do it on its own. This attraction to itself is actually what forms surface tension. The attraction of the molecules below for the molecules above is what creates that surface tension. And that surface tension is going to come into play in places like your lungs. Your lungs stay ballooned, stay full, fluffed out, because of the surface tension of a compound called surfactant. And when that surfactant is not present, the alveoli do not open up. They collapse. And you are not able to have air in there, and you don't get the exchange of gases. Water is super reactive. As we've already mentioned, it will ionize itself and acids and salts and separate them. It will transport, and it's involved in reactions called hydrolysis and condensation, which we will talk about eventually. What else does water do? Water has a high specific heat. What is a specific heat? Specific heat is the amount of heat or energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. Water has a high specific heat. It takes approximately until 100 degrees Celsius for water to boil. This is due to their hydrogen bonds. Those hydrogen bonds are actually going to inhibit the input of that excess energy in the form of heat until it becomes too much. This is also why water is an effective coolant. It has a high heat of vaporization. For instance, 1 milliliter of perspiration, sweat, removes approximately 500 calories from the body. This is why if you have wrestlers or you wrestled yourself, one of the things that they told you to do when trying to drop weight for making your weight for the meet was to bundle yourself up and run around. Usually for my wrestling team, it was you bundled yourself up in as many layers as you could, including your winter jacket, and you started doing laps around the gym. This was twofold. One, you'd lose weight due to the actual loss of water, but also you would burn calories. As you burnt calories, in theory, that would trigger the burning of fat. Removal of fat would trigger the decrease in weight. Is it a permanent weight loss solution? No. No, it's not. Every single one of us who had to do that, the minute we weighed in and we drank a bottle of water because we were so dehydrated, we gained it all back. But hey, made weight. Yes, I would classify it as an eating disorder. It's not healthy. But sweating, super effective coolant. This is also why when it is humid outside, it feels warmer. Because that sweat you're generating is not evaporating. It's not pulling the heat from your body. You hear people talk about it all the time. But it's a dry heat. It doesn't feel as bad because it's a dry heat. It doesn't feel as bad because the humidity is low enough that the sweat you're generating is actually able to evaporate off of your skin, pulling the heat out of your body, making it not feel as hot.